What's going on, everybody? It's GameUnboxingReviews here, and welcome back to another LEGO Marvel Avengers news update. So, in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing 3 brand new screenshots for the game. Sadly, they don't really show any new characters, although I think there is one in the screenshots that I'm going to show that we haven't necessarily seen, but was announced, so I guess that's pretty cool. But apart from that, I also have some vehicle details, not necessarily what vehicles we're going to be getting, but how they've improved upon the controls since LEGO Batman 3 and LEGO Marvel Superheroes. I also have some customizer details, hub world details, and much more. But before all that, I'd just like to give a huge shout out to the Insightful Panda on Twitter, as most of the news that is from this video is from his fantastic interview with Arthur Parsons. And the reason I call it fantastic is because he asked some brilliant questions and got some great answers from Arthur as well. And if you'd like to read his article, then I'll put the link in the description because it's a really great read. Anyway guys, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so first off we're going to be talking about vehicle details. Now obviously we don't know a lot about the vehicles so far, but this information is still pretty cool. One thing I want to mention is the screenshot you're seeing right here is from LEGO Marvel Superheroes. However, in saying that, the shield helicarrier is back, you'll be able to skydive off the top of it and all that good stuff, and the Quinjets are back as well, so you can still fly around them. So it's not that different, but I just don't want to confuse some people. Anyway, due to a lot of feedback from people who played both LEGO Marvel Superheroes and LEGO Batman 3 Beyond Gotham, they got a lot of complaints from people about the driving mechanics. You know, both the driving, the flying, all that kind of stuff. People didn't like it in LEGO Marvel and LEGO Batman 3, and the reason they didn't like it so much was, one, they just didn't enjoy driving around, and two, it made races incredibly difficult for people. Now, I don't know what it is. Personally, for me, I never found the races difficult. I thought they were really easy. That might have been because I played the game so much. I just got used to the mechanics, you know, I just got used to how the controls worked and all that good stuff. So, yeah, that must just be me. With LEGO Batman 3, however, I wasn't a huge fan of the mechanics in that. I think they changed it just a little bit, so I think I preferred LEGO Marvel's driving controls over that one. However, this time round, what they've done is it's not going to be like LEGO Marvel or LEGO Batman 3. It's going to feel completely different. It's going to feel better, and it's so good that the races are now doable, so you won't have a hard time trying to complete races anymore. You'll just have a good time driving about and stuff like that. Again, there's no word on what vehicles we're going to get in the game except the Quinjet, which I announced there, and also the Thanos Copter, which is great. But I did ask Arthur if there's going to be any cool Tony Stark cars, because of course, if you know Tony Stark, he has such awesome cars, and it would be great, you know, because this game is like the ultimate Iron Man experience. You know, you've got Malibu Mansion, Avengers Tower, Tony Stark, suit-ups, just so much stuff. So if we could have like fast cars to drive around and stuff like that, that would just make it the definitive Tony Stark experience. And he said we'll have to wait and see. So there could be Tony Stark vehicles in the game, or there might not be, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But they did have his red Audi, I think, from Iron Man 3. It wasn't completely an Audi, it was more inspired by it, but they definitely had that car from Iron Man 3 in LEGO Marvel Superheroes. So yeah, we will just have to wait and see. Moving on, here we have some customizer details. Now, not a lot is known about the customizer in LEGO Marvel's Avengers, but I did previously say, if you remember, that I said that they plan to let you give your character Quicksilver's abilities. Now, that wasn't necessarily a yes or a no, it was just they plan to do it. So you should, hopefully, in the full game, be able to, you know, make a character and then have, like, Quicksilver's abilities and be able to run up buildings on water super fast, faster than Iron Man, all that good stuff. However, it has also been said, now this is actually confirmed, Arthur confirmed this, you will be able to give your character Scarlet Witch's abilities as well. So if you're a big fan of Scarlet Witch and you want her abilities, there you go, you can do that. Now, no word on if you need Scarlet Witch's hair or Quicksilver's hair or something like that to do this, but personally I really hope not, because one of the things that I've wanted to see since LEGO Marvel Superheroes came out with the customizer is where you can just make a character, just make any design you want. You don't have to have a specific you know, piece of hair or hat or anything like that, and then you choose your powers, because that would just add so much more variety to what you can make. Because when you're restricted to having a certain helmet or a certain hairpiece, it just kind of takes you out of it, because you're like, but I want that hairpiece and I want these powers. So hopefully this time around, the customizer, we can just choose our character, you know, make them and then choose the powers, because that would just be so much better. Alright, so next up we have probably one of my most anticipated features for LEGO Marvel's Avengers, and it is of course the hub worlds. The hub worlds are absolutely incredible in this game. I'm blown away by the amount of attention to detail, the amount of content on offer, and it stays, it stays. Random crimes will not disappear after 100%. You still have quests to do, races, collectibles, just so much content in the hub worlds alone. It's insane. Anyway, a lot of you have been asking, how do you get between each hub world? Because, what if I'm in New York City but I want to go to Asgard? How do I do that? And basically, luckily, the insightful Panda did actually ask Arthur this, and Arthur told him. So what you do is to travel between each hub world, it requires fast travel, which makes sense. Now, what you use for fast travel is actually the Quinjet. So you get in the Quinjet and it actually takes you to that different hub world. Personally, I think that's brilliant. I really do. I think that's a great way of doing it, and it fits in well with the Avengers because they use the Quinjets quite a lot. And they're actually in Avengers Age of Ultron, they traveled in the Quinjets quite a bit as well, so it does make a lot of sense. Hopefully, it's not just a loading screen where you jump in the Quinjet and then that's it. Maybe you get to see a loading screen with the Quinjet flying in the sky. I think that would be pretty cool, but, we'll have to wait and see. Now, obviously, we know that there is a bunch of hubs in LEGO Marvel's Avengers, and they're all extremely exciting, and I can't wait to explore them. And Arthur has said there will be more going on in all of them, not just New York, but all of them. But I'm going to stick to New York just for now, just to explain this. So basically, with New York City in the game, we know it's going to have random crimes, it's going to have side quests, collectibles, races, and all that good stuff. However, Arthur has also recently said that there's more than that we don't know about yet, and that the worlds are going to feel much more alive. The reason he said that is because I was looking through some of the old screenshots trying to see if I noticed anything that I didn't notice previously, and I remember seeing the ambulance, and you can see it here, the ambulance behind Detroit Steel Armor. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think that's a coincidence. I think the ambulance has something to do with something. Maybe, someone's hurt and you can follow the ambulance to a diversion, and then you can, rescue some people or something like that. There's tons of possibilities. It's just like when you play the old Spider-Man games, or you play one of the recent ones like Amazing Spider-Man 2. When you see a fire engine, you can jump on the fire engine, it takes you to a random crime where you actually have to rescue some people from a burning building. Maybe there's stuff like that. You just never know. But yes, there's going to be a lot more to do than just the things that I've already said, as well as the world being so much more alive, and that's just so cool. I mean, when you play in LEGO Marvel Superheroes, it really feels alive, but they're going to add more to that, and it's insane, and I can't wait. Now, this is interesting. So basically, one user asked on Twitter to Arthur Parsons if we will see police officers chasing after criminals, civilians that can drive us around in taxis and stuff like that, and much more. And Arthur did actually say yes to this. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that applies to everything that was asked, but he did say yes. So, for now, I'm going to say take that with a pinch of salt. Even though it's extremely exciting, just take that information with a pinch of salt, as I don't want people to get their hopes up. But how cool does that sound? I mean, running around the city, stopping random crimes, you see the police and they're helping people and they're trying to do their job, and then if you can actually get in a taxi, that's awesome. If you don't actually have to drive it and you can get in the back and sit, that would be so cool. One of the features I've always wanted to see in a Spider-Man game is being able to play as Peter Parker, pull out your phone from your backpack and call for a taxi. I don't know, I just think that would be such a cool feature because, Spider-Man, when you're Spider-Man, you'd be swinging around the city and, that would be your travel. That would be how you would travel through the city. But if you were Peter, you would have to rely on something else, like a bike or a skateboard or a taxi. I just think that would be really cool. So if we can actually get in the back of a taxi, that's awesome. That's very cool. Alright, so the last thing to talk about with the hub world details is some more details on the random crimes. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is with the gameplay that I've been putting up in this video, that's all from LEGO Marvel Superheroes. I just thought I'd put something over the top of it to make it a little more interesting. Anyway, what I was wondering with random crimes that I did ask Arthur Parsons was, because I was thinking basically, what if you're flying around the city, you see a bank robbery as Iron Man, and you actually have to have Iron Man, you have to, cut the gold door or something like that just to get inside. So I couldn't be Daredevil and do that random crime. But Arthur actually denied this. He said, no, you can do it as any character. So you can see a bank robbery, a car thief, or whatever else there is, and complete it as any character in the game. You don't need anyone specific. That is great. That is really, really, really cool. That's because it allows you to play as your favorite character and just run around the city stopping crimes. I mean, that's not going to get boring. And if it does get boring, go somewhere else and do something else, I think with the hub worlds, I think if you're in New York City, you'll be fighting thugs and stuff like that. Maybe the Chitauri, you just never know. But then I think there might also be slightly altered versions of random crimes in other hub worlds where we maybe fight dark elves, frost giants, Hydra. You just never know what they've got up their sleeve, but I think that's going to be really cool. So the fact that you can complete random crimes as any character at all in the game, that is just so awesome. Alright, so before we move on to the screenshots, I have one more thing to talk about, and it is of course DLC packs. Now sadly, we don't know any DLC packs that are coming out for this game. However, what we do now know is DLC packs are officially confirmed, so they are coming, and that is fantastic news. And the reason I say that is because LEGO Batman 3 Beyond Gotham had so much great content last year. I loved the Arrow, Dark Knight, Man of Steel. It was great being able to play with all that kind of stuff from the movies and TV shows. So if LEGO Marvel's Avengers is going to get the exact same treatment, that would be amazing. And you know, what you got to think about is LEGO Marvel's Avengers comes out in January, you know, late January. I think it's 26th for America and 29th in Europe. I could be wrong, but I think that's right. So what if maybe because it's later, you know, it's next year, maybe since it's not that far off from the release of Civil War, we'll get a Civil War DLC pack. I mean, that would just be amazing. Imagine going to see Captain America Civil War, coming home, downloading the DLC pack, and then fighting Captain America in his suit from the movie, as Iron Man in his suit from the movie, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the amount of stuff you could do with that alone would be so cool. And then maybe later in the year they release one for Doctor Strange, and we get to play as Baron Mordo and Doctor Strange in their costumes from the movies. It's just so much possibilities. It's crazy, and I really hope we get that. And I know a lot of people want Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. DLC packs, Spider-Verse, Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy. There's so much stuff. I mean, we don't know everything about this game. A lot of that stuff could already be in there, but, you know, we will just have to wait and see. Alright, so last but not least, I of course said I have 3 brand new screenshots before we end the video. So first off, here we have Igor outside of the Roxxon oil rig from Iron Man 3. And sadly, we won't be able to suit up in this armor, but it is just so cool, you know. Just the fact that you get to play as Igor is awesome. And being able to go to the best scene in Iron Man 3, the House Party Protocol, playing as Tony, suiting up in all his different suits, taking out extremist soldiers, and then facing off against Aldrich Killian, that is going to be incredible. I cannot wait to play that mission, and I think that might be one of my favorite missions because I love that scene. I'm one of those people that really likes Iron Man 3. It may be just because of that scene at the end. I mean, that is just, it's just such an awesome ending. I love it. I absolutely love it. Moving on, here we have the Mark 1 Ultron. Now, if you're new to the channel, you won't know this, but basically I did a video which was some low quality gameplay, but it showed Ultron, and we didn't see much of what he could do, but his walk was just like the movie. It was this robotic zombie walk. It was brilliant. It was just such a cool, animation. I love the animation team at TT Games. They are amazing, and they get everything right. And the design of this thing, I mean, this minifigure is so cool. Now, also one thing to mention here is where he is. He's actually inside Avengers Tower, and we recently found out that you're going to be able to go there. You're going to be able to go to Avengers Tower in free roam whenever you want. You can walk around it and all that good stuff, and there'll probably be things to do in there as well. That is just so cool. This game is huge. It's absolutely massive, and who knows, there could be even more interiors that we don't know about yet. And finally, here we have the last screenshot. We can see here Malekith and Curse from Thor the Dark World. Now, this is really cool. I know a lot of people don't love Thor the Dark World. Personally, I like it. I think it's good. I enjoy watching it. But I think LEGO Marvel's Avengers is going to make it that much more better because, you know, the thing they've said about these missions based on Iron Man 3 and Thor the Dark World and stuff like that, is they're taking the best parts of those movies and extending them and, you know, just having a lot of fun with them. So being able to fight Curse and Malekith and all that kind of stuff, we're going to be able to do that, and it's going to be so much fun. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. I mean, I hope you've enjoyed it because, you know, there's not been a lot of news for LEGO Marvel's Avengers recently, so I've tried my best to compile everything I could find out from Twitter, from articles and all that kind of stuff into one big video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Alright guys, so I want to thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more videos real soon, and as always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.